Hi guys, so I decided to get on because I wanted to share my monologue with you guys. And it's called This Perfect Girl. What do you see when you look at me? I have often heard many people say that I have a great life. But in my head, I was unsure what a great life looks like. When I was very, very young, I was abandoned by the ones I thought was supposed to love me. And who should love me? But then I was placed in the care of another until 18 months. Ironically, returning home to a world I never knew of, I remember those days of self-isolation and constantly writing in my diary, I want a way out. Internally, no joy within. I remember in elementary school, kids asked me why my name changed. I said adoption, I guess, but that sounds so strange. I went from learning I was born at home and left at the hospital, believe me, left me with a whole lot of unanswered questions. But when you see me, everyone is forever saying, I'm the perfect girl, because it appears that I have my life in order. How can I remain focused when my life was in such a disarray? When I entered high school, it felt like my life had gotten even worse. Surely this couldn't have been how life was supposed to be. I hated the way I looked. I hated being me. But you can always catch me on Sunday smiling and singing through the pain that embraced my soul. One night I decided that this life wasn't worth living, so I decided to take some pills to end this crazy life I had to be forced to deal with. I couldn't find a purpose for me being here, so I thought it was time to go. My mind said, okay, pills, here we go. The next day I woke up and God whispered in my ear and told me, you are here for a reason. Now I was angry and mad. I was questioning God's motives. What he wanted me to do, I couldn't see the purpose in myself, so how can I impact others? Struggling to make it through community college, my focus was all over the place. I went away to a 4-year college, and while I was there, I began to start to understand my assignment and purpose. People will reach out to me on a daily just to share their thoughts and feelings. As time went on, I began to see that all that I have gone through wasn't for me, but for those out there struggling to address their hurt and pain. For years, I would hear people tell me that you're going to grow up just to be like your parents and other statistics. The comments were always driving me crazy. I didn't need to be reminded I was born addicted to drugs, and I was determined that my past wasn't going to define me. I remember sitting in a room full of people for an IEP meeting. Instead of words of encouragement, I heard them say your comprehension is bad, and we're going to put you in slow classes. This label followed me all the way to college. I felt I wouldn't pass, but years later, after all the negative comments, I received my bachelor's degree. Because I was still connected to God, he told me that I need to be a youth pastor. And when I was called to do so at my church home, I had mega tears. Those tears stood for 2 reasons. One was because I was happy to hear that God wanted to use me, and the other was still because I was a college party girl, and the concept was still running through my veins. They weren't tears of excitement, but rather tears because I still wanted to party. Hey, I'm in college. I knew I had to stand before God's people and be transparent with them. I began to learn where the battle really lies and breathes, within one's mind. I returned home, and after college, my life took a turn I wasn't expecting. I was at work, and in the midst of a day, I blacked out and wound up in the ER with no explanation. But knew it was the enemy trying to block my destiny. Then it happened again, and a glass jar cut me within inches of my main vein. The doctor said if I didn't apply pressure, I could have bled to death. I continued to seek my purpose to fulfill my journey, but the more I tried, the more crazy stuff kept happening. I decided to only glance at my problems and continue to focus on my future. In June of 2021, I was blessed to complete my master's degree, and now I'm fulfilling the purpose that God placed inside of me. So now, when you look at me, what do you see? I'm not the perfect girl, but rather God is perfect in all his ways, and he chooses me to be the example of goodness, grace, and mercy. Now that's what I see.